Sometimes the internet is the best place to find challenges and all sorts of ideas to push ourselves beyond our limits to try new things. I mean, unless it's something harmful like most of those prank challenges. However, there are some pretty cool ones, mainly the idea of breaking a world record. Wouldn't it be cool to one day find your name on the book of Guinness World Records? It would be pretty cool in my opinion. All you need is some courage and determination and, of course, some safety. To go along with the safety, some things are better left untried. Today we're going to take a look at 10 Guinness World Records that can't be broken. Or, well, you could try, but I doubt many people out there would dare to give these a try. You'll be surprised when you see what number 1 had to do in order to make it to this list. And trust me, it's not a thing you'd like to consider on a normal basis. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. Heaviest weight supported by a human tongue. What's the heaviest food you've eaten? That's a question no one really asks, because usually when we eat, we never really think about the weight of food. But things are a bit different for Thomas Blackthorne, who lifted 11 kilos worth of weight with, well, his tongue. That's right, he had his tongue pierced by a hook that was able to hold 4 weights. He lifted those 11 kilos with the strength of his tongue and held them for about 5 seconds. What's even more impressive is that this was done without getting hurt. It took him 6 years to prepare for this moment, and it doesn't seem like anyone will ever be able to challenge him. He broke the record in 2004, and since then the only person who's been able to take on the challenge is Thomas Blackthorne himself. He went on again and broke the record 3 times in a row. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 9. Most one-handed push-ups. Workouts require a lot of discipline and determination in order to get us good results. And if you want to break a world record that involves a workout, then you're in for a lot of sweating, sore muscles, and tons of pain. However, that didn't stop athlete Paddy Doyle from setting a few records that are now hard to break. One of the most impressive of them is most one-arm push-ups completed in 5 hours. Who comes up with these record ideas anyway? Doyle managed to get 5,260 push-ups, which means that he did a little more than 1,000 of them for every hour that he was there. In addition to such an odd accomplishment, he also managed to become the person to set the record for the most push-ups in a year, with a total of 1,500,230 push-ups from October 1988 to October of 1989. The list of accomplishments goes on, as he also set records in other disciplines such as sit-ups, step-ups, burpees, and backpack running. The man is a legend, and certainly an inspiration for all those who are into health and fitness, though I wouldn't suggest trying to break these records anytime soon. Number 8. Most atomic blasts survived. I guess it's quite obvious why no one will ever be able to break this record. I mean, it would require a tragic event to happen, and we certainly don't want that. But Tsutomu Yamaguchi fairly gained a spot on this list by being the man who survived the most atomic blasts in a lifetime. On 2 different occasions, Mr. Yamaguchi was able to escape death and lived longer to tell his story. In the summer of 1945, he had traveled to Hiroshima when the first atomic bombing happened. The explosion left him temporarily blind and with serious burns and ruptured eardrums. But that didn't keep him from going back to work in Nagasaki, only 3 days later after the incident. He was reporting to his supervisors when the Fat Man atomic bomb impacted their city. This time, however, Mr. Yamaguchi didn't get hurt. In 2009, Yamaguchi became the only person in Japan to be recognized as a survivor of both bombings. He passed away at the age of 93 in the year 2010. However, he spent his life advocating to stop the use of atomic and nuclear bombing. Hopefully, no one has to go through this ever again, or at least that much. Number 7. Pulling an airplane. What would you say to people who claim that they're able to move an airplane by simply using their strength? You probably think they're crazy, and that's exactly how people felt back in 2009 when priest Kevin Fast told them that he was going to pull an airplane. He was able to do it over the length of 8.8 meters, and he even claims that he could have gone a bit further if there hadn't been a finish line. Over the years, he has been able to break a few world records with the use of his strength. He has used the money he raises from his stunts to go to charities. With the airplane event, he was able to make $65,000 alone. Imagine all the money he has raised by pulling trucks and other heavy means of transportation. When he's not busy training his muscles, he spends his time conducting weddings and baptisms in his home country of Canada. Number 6. Hit by lightning. A park ranger in Virginia named Ray Sullivan got recognition after being hit by lightning 7 times in his life. I'm not sure if going through this is considered good luck or bad luck, but the important thing is that Ray survived each and every incident. Since the Guinness World Records were able to document all the scary moments he went through, Ray got a spot on their list. He says that one of the incidents happened one day while he was on a road in the mountains. He had the window of his truck open, and that's where the lightning came through after reflecting onto a tree. He fell unconscious while most of the hair on his body began to burn. All of this while his truck got to a stop right on the edge of a deadly cliff. Also in 1973, he was performing some of his duties when he noticed a storm cloud that was following him. He tried to get away, and just when he thought the cloud was gone, he got out of his truck only to be struck by lightning, once again setting his hair on fire. Luckily this time he remained conscious. He had gotten so used to these events that he now had a can of water that he always kept in his truck, and that is what helped him put out the fire on his head. It all sounds painful, but hey, at least he got some recognition. Number 5. Tallest man alive. There are tall people and there are incredibly tall people. However, I doubt any of them compare to Sultan Kosan, the tallest man in the world at 2.5 meters tall, or 8'2" if you measure him in American standards. He was named the tallest man in the world back in 2010, taking the title from Bao Jishun, a Chinese man who was only 20 centimeters shorter than Kosan. Apparently, Sultan's impressive height was a result of an excess of growth hormone in his body. The condition caused a tumor that had to be removed, and that's when he finally stopped growing. He came to the public's attention after someone tried to recruit him to play basketball. However, his physical condition didn't allow him to practice such a sport, but it allowed for people to notice that he was taller than anyone else alive. Will someone ever break this record in the near future? It doesn't seem like it, but hey, only time will tell. Number 4. Eating airplanes. We've actually featured this man in a couple of our videos about dangerous world records, and we have to bring this up again. The man who eats airplanes and a bunch of other stuff. It is obvious that not many people, or maybe no one at all actually, is even considering doing the things that this man did. Michael Latito earned a spot in the Book of Records by having the strangest diet. He ate a lot of things that are considered indigestible, such as metal, rubber, and other strange materials that no one else would ever put in their mouths. Bicycles, beds, computers, you name it. If it sounds crazy, he's probably tried to eat it. But the most admired thing he ate was an entire aircraft, and it took him around 2 years to complete the task. He accomplished this between the years of 1978 to 1980, and the people who saw it claimed that he had no difficulty while chewing on this stuff. Michael died of natural causes in 2007, 10 days after he turned 57, but he spent 41 of those years working on his peculiar diet. Now we remember him as the man who ate a plane, and I doubt we will see someone else like him in our lifetime, or at least someone as successful as him in our lifetime. Number 3. Most lawsuits. Sometimes when we are frustrated at the way things are handled, we feel the strong need to start a lawsuit. But what does it take for someone to get things to court? It is quite a process, and not every legal fight is worth it. However, nothing stopped Jonathan Lee Riches from becoming the holder of the Guinness World Record for filing the most lawsuits. He accomplished that by hitting the outstanding number of 4,000 lawsuits on numerous companies and individuals during his lifetime. In fact, he even filed a lawsuit against the Guinness Book of World Records because they included him in their book. After serving time in prison, he was released at the end of the year 2012 and began his unstoppable series of lawsuits. For that reason, he is now called Superman, and some of the people he has sued include Bill Gates, President Bush, and even Pope Benedict XVI. Now it's time for the day's best pick. The picture I chose for today is one of someone on a bicycle going down towards a very scary hole in the water. That doesn't seem like it's something I'd ever like to try, but if there's something we can learn today, it's that most of the world records that can't be broken required someone to try something crazy that no one else would. On that note, let's see what we have at the top. Number 2. Most world records. It only made sense to include the person who holds the record of having the most world records, and it doesn't seem like he's someone we could easily take down from his glory. At 62 years old, Ashrita Furman holds 200 world records, but in fact he has broken 550 records in his life. It's just that 350 of them were already taken from him, but we still have a long way to go if we want to take the remaining 200 from him. And even if other people manage to break the records that he holds, I doubt anyone would ever hold as many records as he did. For Ashrita, it all started in 1979 when he was a store manager in Brooklyn, New York, and he decided to break the world record for the most jumping jacks. He managed to do it by doing 27,000 of them. After that, he went on to show off his abilities in other activities, such as longest underwater cycling distance, longest distance balancing a milk bottle on his head, fastest mile in somersaulting, and fastest mile on a kangaroo ball. The list goes on, and today it doesn't seem like anyone else would do all the things he's done in a lifetime. Number 1. Surviving death. You'll probably not find this in the Guinness book because I'm sure they wouldn't like anyone to compete. However, it has been documented that the person who has survived death the most is Michael Malloy. He was 50 years old when some of his acquaintances conspired to kill him in order to collect life insurance. First, they tried to intoxicate him with ridiculous amounts of alcohol, hoping Malloy would drink himself to death, but he survived. Then they replaced his drink for antifreeze, but the substance did not kill him. They then tried other forms of torture, such as rat poison, raw oysters, spoiled sardines, and other tactics that still didn't work. Finally, they managed to send him to the hospital after dumping him in the cold and pouring water on his chest. Once he was at the hospital, they put a rubber hose in his mouth and fixed the other end to a gas outlet. After 1 hour, Malloy finally died. The conspirators would have gotten away with the scheme, except for the fact that the police found out what they did and sent them to the electric chair. They were not as lucky as Malloy, as they all died on the first try. But one thing is for sure, no one has ever survived extreme causes of death as many times as Malloy did. I don't think many of us would like to try breaking any of these records, but I could be wrong on that one. Are there any records on this list that you think you might break one day? Let us know in the comment section down below. With all that said and done, that's our video for today, folks, and I will see you all next time. Later, everybody.